Marcus Aurelius said, "Most of what we fear losing is often not worth keeping." Imagine a moment. You are running in a long race and the sun is burning your face and you're carrying a heavy bag. Every step you feel the weight of this bag, and the more you run, the burdens increase more and more. But have you ever wondered, what if I told you that you can get rid of some of these burdens? That you can leave some of these stones behind and continue the race with less weight? Would you succeed in the race if you kept carrying everything? Or would all these unnecessary things hinder you from reaching the finish line? Today, we will talk about 9 things you should get rid of in your life silently, without noise. Things that prevent you from being the best version of yourself. And these are not just words, but a lifestyle you must adopt to live a happier and more comfortable life. If you feel this video could be the start of real change in your life, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because we will continue this journey together, step by step. Let's begin. The first step you should take in your life is to get rid of unnecessary comparisons. Comparisons are a trap, but it's a clever, deceptive trap that draws us into it without us realizing. You are browsing your phone. You see a picture of a friend who succeeded in something, or someone traveling, or another living what seems like a perfect life. Suddenly, without realizing, your mind starts comparing. Why is he there? And I am here. Why does he have that achievement? And I am still stuck. But wait, have you ever thought that these comparisons are not fair? You are only seeing the picture, not the story. The person you are comparing yourself to might have gone through struggles you cannot imagine. Or maybe what you are seeing is just an illusion, an exterior appearance. The truth, my friend, is that each of us has our own journey and unique path. Comparing your life to others is like comparing a small seed to a huge tree, but you forget that this tree was once a small seed, just like you. Comparison is nothing but a weapon your mind directs against itself. Instead, focus on your journey, on improving your steps, no matter how small. True success is not being better than others, but being better than yourself yesterday. Remember this every time you feel the urge to compare your life to someone else's. Stop, take a deep breath, and tell yourself, my journey is mine. No one has lived my life, and no one understands my reality. And most importantly, my friend, this world is full of appearances, but true beauty lies in simplicity. So don't waste your energy looking at what others have, and instead, look at what you have. When you do this, you will realize that happiness was never far from you. Negative thoughts. Let me ask you a simple question. How many times have you found yourself drowning in gloomy thoughts? Thoughts that make everything seem tighter than it is, as if the whole world is against you, and you are trapped in a place with no escape. These thoughts, my friend, are nothing but uninvited guests in your mind. But we often treat them as if they are the homeowners. We allow them to stay, talk to them, and believe every word they say. Why? Because we think that everything that goes on in our minds is absolute truth. But the truth is, these are just illusions. The mind is like a garden. If you leave it without care, harmful weeds will grow in it. Negative thoughts are these weeds. They grow silently, sneaking in slowly until you find yourself trapped by them. But just as you can uproot weeds from their roots, you can also uproot these thoughts. I want you to think of it this way. Every time a negative thought comes into your mind, don't treat it as a truth. Moments will pass and you'll find the good. It all starts in your mind. Now, let me ask you a small request. The next time negative thoughts attack you, stop for a moment, take a deep breath, and tell yourself, I am not these thoughts. I am bigger than this. Just try it, and you will see the difference. But don't forget, my friend, that getting rid of these thoughts is a daily exercise, not magic that happens in a moment, but a habit that needs to be built. And I promise you, if you continue on this path, you will find yourself stronger, calmer, and more in control of your life than you ever imagined. The fear of others' opinions. Dear follower, please focus with me for a moment. Have you ever thought about how much time we spend thinking about what others think of us? How many decisions have we reversed just because we were afraid of someone's gaze or a passing comment? The fear of others' opinions, my friend, is like an invisible chain. We walk with it, we carry it everywhere, and we let it define our choices, even our dreams. But let me tell you something simple. Other people's opinions are nothing more than a reflection of their viewpoints, their fears, or even their limitations. It may have nothing to do with your truth. Imagine with me that you are standing on the shore of a vast sea. There are hundreds of people looking at you, and each one of them sees the sea in their own way. Some see it as pure blue, others see it as gray, clouded. Will you allow everyone to decide for you what color the sea is? The real problem is that we allow those opinions to define who we are. But the truth is, your worth is not tied to others' opinions of you, but it is tied to what you offer to yourself, to what you believe in. Epictetus used to always say, if it does not concern you, do not allow it to take over you. And this also includes people's opinions. If what others say has nothing to do with your truth, why do you care? Life is way too short to spend trying to please others. You will always find someone who opposes you, someone who criticizes you, and someone who tries to fit you into a mold that suits them. Do not be a prisoner to those molds. Live according to your principles. Focus on what makes you a better person, and let others' opinions fade away like waves fading on the shore. I know that getting rid of this fear is not easy, but it starts with a simple step. Ask yourself, when you hear criticism or an annoying opinion, does this opinion add anything to me? If the answer is no, do not give it more than a second of your time. True freedom, my friend, begins from within. When you free yourself from those invisible chains, how many big decisions or dreams have you lost because of your fear of others' opinions? And how much time can you regain if you decide now to get rid of this fear? Toxic relationships. Let me talk to you about something that may seem simple, but carries a profound impact on your life: the relationships surrounding you. Imagine you are walking a long path, and the people you choose to accompany you on this journey either become companions who carry the burdens of the journey for you, or additional weights that weigh you down. There are friends and acquaintances whose friendship may seem natural or even comfortable at first, but over time, you find yourself drained without realizing it. These toxic relationships, my friend, are not necessarily filled with shouting or conflicts. In truth, the poison is not always visible. It may be in the words said casually, but leave a mark on your heart, or in those feelings that linger after a meeting. A feeling that you are less than you should be, or that you are bearing responsibilities that are not yours. A healthy relationship is not one that is free from problems entirely, but one where mutual respect exists, where you feel understood and understanding, and where you grow and flourish alongside this person. Toxic relationships, however, are those that make you doubt your value, weaken your inner strength, and weigh down your steps in life. But getting rid of them is not easy, is it? We fear loneliness. We are afraid of losing what we are accustomed to. And perhaps that is where the biggest challenge lies. We convince ourselves that this relationship can improve with time. But the harsh truth is that some relationships cannot be fixed because their roots were damaged from the beginning. The Stoics teach us that the most important thing is inner peace. You cannot enjoy this peace when you are surrounded by those who silently steal your happiness. Letting go of toxic relationships does not mean you are cruel or lack forgiveness. It simply means you value yourself and know your worth. So, my friend, ask yourself this question: who are the people you allow to influence your life? You don't need to announce your decision or confront them loudly. Just start redirecting your energy. Don't wait for them to change, because if you keep waiting, you will waste your life. Take your time, think calmly, and be honest with yourself. If you feel that someone is harming more than benefiting, let them go silently, and you will feel the difference. Now, my friend, since you've reached this point in the video, it means you are different. You are someone genuinely seeking change and a life of greater clarity and stability. Few people continue searching for wisdom until the end, and you are one of them. Write to me in the comments the phrase, "a life free of distractions." So I know you've reached this moment in the episode. This moment is not just a pause, but an opportunity to connect. And I am here reading every word you write. Stay with us because the upcoming points may be even more important than what you've heard so far. Let's continue. Destructive habits. Dear follower, imagine that every day you wake up and start your day with one small but destructive habit. Perhaps it's the habit of staying up late without purpose, spending hours in front of a screen without learning anything or making real progress. Or maybe it's the habit of postponing what you should do today to a tomorrow that will never come. These habits, no matter how small or harmless they seem, accumulate over time and become like drops of water slowly carving into the rock of your life. The problem, my friend, is not in the single moment you waste, but in the pattern those moments create. As Aristotle said, what we repeatedly do forms what we are. Imagine with me if these habits were a person sitting next to you all the time. telling you that you don't need to work today, that it's okay to postpone your workout for another day, or that eating unhealthy food just once won't hurt. This person doesn't seem aggressive, but they silently destroy your life. But here comes the question. How do we break this cycle? The matter isn't about changing everything in your life all at once, because that's impossible. Stoicism teaches us to focus on small steps, on gradual progress. If you stay up late without purpose, try going to bed just half an hour earlier than your usual time. If you waste your time on your phone, set yourself a limit of 1 hour a day and turn off notifications. My friend, every good habit you plant today is a seed that will grow into a tree under which your future self can find shade. Imagine if, instead of spending time on your destructive habits, you invested it in reading a book, learning a new skill, or even just sitting with yourself and planning what you want to achieve. The idea here isn't to become perfect overnight, but to start with even one small step, because that small step is what will make a big difference later on. And most importantly, remember that every destructive habit you get rid of removes a stone from that heavy bag we talked about at the beginning. And the lighter your load becomes, the faster and steadier your steps toward your goals will be. Think about it and tell me, what is the first habit you will start letting go of today? The desire to control everything. My friend, there is an illusion that most of us live without realizing it. Our overwhelming desire to control everything in our lives. We plan, calculate every step, and expect things to go exactly as we want. And when the opposite happens, as it always does, we find ourselves drowning in frustration and stress. But allow me to share with you a simple truth I've learned from the great philosophers. Not everything is under our control. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, said, "Begin by identifying what you can change and what you cannot change. Then focus only on the former." I know this sounds obvious, but look around you. How many times have you spent hours or even days of your life trying to change something beyond your control? Perhaps it was a conflict with a difficult person, a problem at work you had no authority over, or even the weather that ruined your plans. Isn't this a waste of your energy? Imagine yourself as the captain of a ship. The winds, waves, and storms are not under your control, but the ship's rudder and its direction are the only things you can manage. If you spend your time complaining about the wind, you will never get anywhere. But if you focus on the rudder, you can steer your ship regardless of the strength of the storms. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Accepting what you cannot change is not surrender, but rather redirecting your attention to what you can do about the situation. This acceptance is not a sign of weakness. It is the pinnacle of strength, because when you stop resisting the futile, you find your inner peace. Are there things consuming your energy in vain? Things you're trying to control that are simply beyond your ability? Perhaps it's time to let them go, not because you're weak, but because you choose to be stronger than you think. Focus on what is in your hands now. Focus on yourself, your decisions, and your reactions. Remember, true control begins from within. Unrealistic expectations. Sometimes we find ourselves building big dreams and painting in our minds an ideal picture of what life should be like. You imagine yourself in the perfect job, in the perfect relationship, with the perfect body. You imagine that everything will happen exactly as you expect, as if the world revolves solely around you. But my friend, allow me to ask you a simple question. What happens when these expectations collide with reality? The truth is that high expectations without mental readiness to face different outcomes are a sure recipe for disappointment. Imagine you are walking down a road you expect to be straight and smooth, but suddenly, a sharp turn or a large pothole appears. What do? Do you stop and start blaming the road for not being as you expected? Or do you simply adapt and find a way to continue? The Stoics understood this point well. Marcus Aurelius said, "Receive whatever comes to you as if it were written for you." This means you should not base your hopes on the idea that everything must happen as you wish, but rather be prepared to accept reality as it is. Unrealistic expectations are not just a psychological burden. They are a wall standing between you and inner peace. The solution here is not to abandon dreams or ambitions, but to approach them rationally. Set a goal, yes, but do not tie your happiness to achieving it exactly as you imagined. Leave room for what the Stoics call the free play of fate. If things turn out as you hoped, that's wonderful. If not, remember that life always has other paths, which might be even better than you expected. My friend, do not let unrealistic expectations become chains that restrict your movement. Be flexible, dealing with life as it is, not as you wish it to be. Because in the end, happiness is not in everything being perfect, but in your ability to accept things and adapt them to your benefit. The need to always be right. Have you ever wondered why we sometimes insist on being right, even at the expense of our comfort or relationships? It's as if there's something inside us screaming, "I cannot be wrong," as though admitting a mistake means losing part of our dignity or status. But let me tell you something important. This inner voice is not strength, it's weakness disguised as pride. The desire to always be right is like an endless race. Every time you enter an argument, even a simple one, you feel compelled to prove that you understand more, that you know better, that you are superior. But have you ever asked yourself, what am I trying to prove, and to whom? The truth, my friend, is that wisdom is not about winning every discussion, but about the ability to gracefully step back when you realize you're wrong. A wise person does not fear changing their mind because they know that changing for the better is not weakness. It's great strength. When you stop constantly trying to prove you're right, you'll discover a freedom you never imagined. Think about how much time and energy we waste in futile attempts to persuade, whether it's with a coworker, a friend, or even a stranger on the internet. My friend, the continuous need to prove you're right comes from a deep fear, a fear of being seen as weak. But the truth is, admitting your mistakes is the strongest thing you can do. When you say, "I was wrong," it doesn't make you lesser. It shows you're brave enough to face yourself. Let me share an idea that might change your perspective. The next time you're in a debate, try to pause for a moment and truly listen to what the other person is saying, not with the intention of responding, but with the intention of understanding. Ask yourself, is what I'm arguing for really worth it, or am I just trying to protect my image in front of others? Remember, my friend, no one judges you based on whether you were always right. People remember how you behaved, how you listened, and how you embraced differences. In the end, the person who knows when to step back is the one who wins. Not just the argument, but also the respect of those around them. Please focus with me here. When you let go of this urgent need to prove you're right, you'll feel like you've freed yourself from a weight you didn't even realize was pressing on you. You'll discover that life is not a battlefield where you need to win every time. It's a journey you need to live in peace. The digital noise. Let me share an idea that may seem simple but carries a significant weight in our daily lives. Digital noise. Imagine living in a small house where every corner is filled with sounds. Loud music from one room, overlapping conversations in another, and kitchen appliances running non-stop. How can you think in such chaos? How can you even hear your inner voice amidst all this noise? This is exactly what happens when we drown in the world of screens. Hours pass as you stare at your phone, moving from one short video to another, from notification to notification, as if trapped in an endless whirlpool. At first, it feels enjoyable, but suddenly you find yourself exhausted and distracted, as if something has stolen from you. The truth, my friend, is that technology is not your enemy, but using it unconsciously is what consumes you. Every time you open your phone aimlessly, it's as if you're offering a piece of your time on a platter without resistance. Stoicism teaches us the value of being masters of our time, of deciding where to direct our energy, because what you focus your attention on grows and expands. Imagine if you invested half of this wasted time in learning a new skill, reading a book, or even sitting quietly with your thoughts. Imagine how much clearer your day would be and how much closer you'd feel to your true self. I'm not asking you to get rid of your phone or cut ties with technology. All I invite you to do is ask yourself before every time you pick up your device, is this what I want to do now, or am I just escaping from something else? If you're still with me at this point, it means you understand that change begins in this very moment. Technology is a tool, not a master. You are the one who decides how to use it, and you are the one who sets the boundaries.